Albus Dumbledore on the Fountain of Fair Fortune. The Fountain of Fair Fortune is a perennial favorite, so much so that it was the subject of the Soul's attempt to introduce a Christmas pantomime to Hogwarts' festive celebrations. Or then herbology master Professor Herbert Beebery, an enthusiastic devotee of amateur dramatics, proposed an adaptation of this well-beloved children's tale as a Yuletide treat for staff and students. I was then a young transfiguration teacher, and Herbert assigned me to a special effect, which included providing a fully functioning fountain of fair fortune and a miniature grassy hill, up which our three heroines and hero would appear to march while it sank slowly into the stage and out of sight. I think I might say without vanity that both my fountain and my hill performed the parts allotted to them with simple goodwill. Alas, that the same could not be said for the rest of the cast. Ignoring for a moment the antics of the gigantic worm provided by our care of magical creatures teacher, Professor Sylvanus Kettleburn, the human element proved disastrous to the show. Professor Beery, in his role of director, had been dangerously oblivious to the emotional entanglements seething under his very nose. Little did he know that the students playing Amata and Sir Lockless had been boyfriend and girlfriend until 1 hour before the curtain rose, at which point Sir Lockless transferred his affections to Asha. Suffice it to say that our seekers after fair fortune never made it to the top of the hill. The curtain had barely risen when Professor Kettleburn's worm, now revealed to be an Ashwinder with an enjoyment charm upon it, exploded in a shower of hot sparks and dust, filling the great hall with smoke and fragments of scenery. While the enormous fiery eggs it had laid at the foot of my hill ignited the floorboards, Amata and Asha turned upon each other, dueling so fiercely that Professor Barry was caught in the crossfire, and staff had to evacuate the hall, as the inferno now raging on stage threatened to engulf the place. The night's entertainment concluded with a packed hospital wing. It was several months before the great hall lost its pungent aroma of good smoke, and even longer before Professor Barry's head resumed its normal proportions, and Professor Scatterbloom was taken off probation. Headmaster Armando Dippet imposed a blanket ban on future pantomimes, a proud, not theatrical tradition that Hogwarts continues to this day. Our dramatic fiasco notwithstanding, the Fountain of Fair Fortune is probably the most popular of Beedle's tales, although just like the Wizard and the Hopping Pot, it has its detractors. More than one parent has demanded the removal of this particular tale from the Hogwarts library. including, by coincidence, a descendant of Brutus Malfoy, and one-time member of the Hogwarts Board of Governors, Mr. Lucius Malfoy. Mr. Malfoy submit his demand for a ban of the story in writing. Any work of fiction or non-fiction that depicts interbreeding between wizards and muggles should be banned from the bookshelves of Hogwarts. I do not wish my son to be influenced into sullying the purity of his bloodline by reading stories that promote wizard-muggle marriage. My refusal to remove the book from the library was backed by a majority of the Board of Governors. I wrote back to Mr. Malfoy, explaining my decision. So-called pure-blood families maintain their alleged purity by disowning, banishing, or lying about muggles or muggle-borns on their family trees. They then attempt to foist their hypocrisy upon the rest of us by asking us to ban works dealing with the truths they deny. There is not a witch or wizard in existence whose blood has not mingled with that of muggles, and I should therefore consider it both illogical and immoral to remove works dealing with the subject from our students' store of knowledge. This exchange marked the beginning of Mr. Malfoy's long campaign to have me removed from my post as headmaster of Hogwarts, and of mine to have him removed from his position as Lord Voldemort's favorite Death Eater.